Call the Board of Finance meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Welcome, everybody. So the first order of business is Parks and Rec. So Mr. Parks and Rec,
Mr. Chairman, can I, before that, just...
Oh, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. Dave Kelsey.
Or Dave Kelsey.
Right, Dave Kelsey can't be here tonight, and he appointed Fred to sit in his place. We don't need a motion.
I didn't know he informed you. I mean, he...
Yeah, he did, but
okay,
what the statute says is that if an alternate isn't here, that the alternate shall or may appoint one of the... I'm sorry, if a regular member can't come, he should appoint an alternate to sit in his place. If he does not do that, then the board, by a majority vote, can appoint somebody else. But Dave appointed you with the awesome responsibility that come on up. So this, in our agenda, is broken down under Parks and Rec into three categories: Town Woods, Fireworks, and Memorial Day. But it's kind of missing Parks and Rec itself, which I think we should start with, right? The total number requested is 412,895, which has been proposed by the Board of Selectmen. So. Don, I welcome you to make a comment. You want to make that?
We briefly talked about it before. Most of you here, I think. If anybody has any questions about what was discussed then or something, nothing has changed on my part from then.
I wasn't here for that. I wasn't able to be here, Don. So the bulk of it looks like it's seasonal wages. It's up $20,000.
Yeah, it's up for a couple reasons. We're probably going to have more people working for us, and the cost of living, the minimum wage stuff went up too as well.
Don, do you have off the top of your head the two numbers of the cost of the seasonal wages on the one hand and the revenue that those folks produce on the other hand?
To date, $95,220 from Parks and Rec.
The programs?
Yes.
For this year?
Yes.
And the bulk of that, is that summer and soccer?
Summer day camp, $63,265. Summer soccer, where is it here? $11,065.
So let's just play with those numbers for a minute. The seasonal wages number requested last year was $155,006, and this year is $173,000. So is it the case that the fees don't cover the expenses?
Pretty much. Some of those summer wages, though, are like lifeguards and parking attendants, where there's I don't have an income from that. So that's some of that number.
Parking, there's income.
Pardon me?
Parking, there's income.
Right, but it doesn't
come back to you.
It doesn't come back to me. Yeah. The beach sticker
town, though.
Right, the beach sticker stuff goes through town somewhere. I don't know where. That could offset some of the parking fees, but I don't get that directly into my budget. So a lot of the lifeguards and parking attendants is a big part of that number.
And you can't quantify it as you sit here today?
Yeah, I think I can do that. Somewhere in here. I'm looking like at lifeguards, approximately just for 35,700. So what I do is I break out all the people that do things for me and come up with that total number. That's what I do.
Now, day camp registration hasn't opened up yet for this year, so there's not income yet for day camp.
Right. But normally, we have been in the past pushed the day camp stuff into this budget.
Okay.
Just for simplicity.
Yep.
Like say if we sign up for something we're still going to start in April. So we sign up something to April, May, and June, or maybe the end of May, but mostly June and into July, we push everything to the next budget. That's how we've always done it, just for clarity, so we don't have the tail end of one and the beginning of another.
Right.
You get a better accurate number of what the day camp is.
Right.
There's a very nice sheet that Don did, second backup sheet in his section, which breaks it apart into his counselors, supervisors, et cetera. And just so you do know, Beach passes last year took in approximately $48,000. We sold 1,600 at $30 a piece. Some people bought 2 for $75, but...
How much was that for beach stickers?
Pardon?
How much did they bring in?
48.
Years ago, that number used to be included in my revenue somehow, but it hasn't been for a number of years. I'm not sure.
How do you determine what to charge? Do you do it unilaterally, or do you talk to the Board of Selectmen? How's that decision made?
Charge for a program?
Yeah.
Based on, I'm going to say that all of our programs are at the low end of a cost to people, because we're providing a service to the residents, what we're really doing, but at the same time trying to cover as much as we can of what we do. As an example, I think we probably, with the addition of like a nurse at day camp the last few years, has been very expensive for us. So we might lose a couple $1,000s on a day camp, but like soccer, it doesn't cost me $11,000 to run the soccer program. It might cost me $3,000. So we're making money, that's how I do it. I keep the money as low as possible. Probably too low.
Well, but so that's the question. You're here, unfortunately, before the Board of Finance, who are interested, first sort of in the net expense of programs. Do the summer programs include folks from out of town?
No.
Just for old Lyme residents?
Lyme residents are welcome as well. What we used to do, Lyme was excluded, it was just old Lyme residents. And then some of the numbers started going down a little bit, and folks from Lyme had constantly been inquiring about, can they come to the day camp? So what we did, when the numbers started going down a little bit, I spoke to the Lyme director and said, get a list of people from Lyme who want to go, and when I get my numbers final, we'll see if we can fit them in the camp. And they did. And we did, and they took the money in for their folks, and then they turned the money over to us. So we got the kids in and fit, and ever since then they've fit. So we just did away with that step. We just allowed Lyme and Lyme kids to sign up for the day camp.
So I guess my suggestion to the Board of Selectmen is that in the future you talk to Don about the pricing and second guess whether he's charging a market rate or below market, to an extent that sounds reasonable to you. Anna?
I would say, just because I'm in the middle of day camp and camps in general, the town day camps across the board are less expensive than most of the other camps you can go to.
Right.
But they provide an incredible service for parents that are, both working. When all the caregivers in the house, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, are full-time working, it's extremely difficult to find childcare in the summer that's reasonably priced. Most of the day camps around here run upwards of $350 a week, and that's only usually like a half a day. So the rest of the day, you're not covered, so you have to find somebody else.
What does ours charge?
It's $300 for the whole 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah. The aftercare.
So we've used, but that's not like 8 to 5 though.
Yeah.
So there's another cost for an aftercare program. What is it, 9 to 2?
We go 9 to 2 with a day camp, Monday through Friday, and then 2 to 4 for an aftercare with considerably less kids there. Because that was like a pilot program last time.
Well, I don't want to belabor the point and take time with the Board of Finance tonight. I don't think it's our job.
I would say this is a valuable.
I just think it's
I don't think anybody argues that. I think it's like, are we doing it responsibly?
Say what?
I would say no one's arguing with Anna that it's a very valuable program.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just about are we are we charging enough to like?
When was the last time you changed prices?
Well, you have
I think we did last year, if I remember.
BJ's ready to recognize me.
No, I'm just letting you know.
I think Matt had a question.
No, I was just saying that the question really isn't like, is it a valuable program? Everybody loves the program and thinks it's very valuable. It's just, I think what BJ's getting at is we just want to make sure that
Covered.
yeah, like
I get
at
it.
least the cost of living.
I get it. I get
to it. Yeah.
Part of my philosophy was it's a service to the residents as best we can. I didn't want to make it cost enough money that people felt like they had to go to it every day. They can take a day off. They can go to another camp and not feel they're losing anything.
Yeah, it's a moderately complicated question.
Yeah.
We do want to provide services for the residents, but to the extent that the services are being provided below cost, and the other taxpayers in town whose kids aren't going to the program are subsidizing those who do. And to Anna's point, that we have a variety of wealth levels in Old Lyme, and I would agree with you that we want folks who don't have a lot of money to still be able to send their kids. The question would arise, should there be subsidies available for folks who can't afford a market rate? Again, I don't want to spend a lot of time.
Very quickly.
Yeah, like, I'm nervous I'm not going to get
can't get in.
To make you a little less nervous, maybe.
I have 9 a.m. on April 1st blocked in my
I know. That's probably a good thing. But we are talking. I'm talking with Winnie recently about increasing the number of kids that we have there. Last year we had, if I remember correctly, 265 kids registered, which is a lot to be run by us and college kids and high school kids. And we're thinking about raising that number a little bit without getting out of control.
Yeah, I mean, so
not everybody goes there every day.
Yeah.
Right.
The I don't know, 5 cents I was going to add. We've used various camps in different towns, including Essex's Park and Rec camp is open to non-town residents as well. So my suggestion would be to maybe look at what other towns are doing, because theirs is also very reasonable.
Yeah.
They do it by the week, so they have a better idea of how many kids to expect week to week.
Right.
But I think they charge $135 a week, which is still well below what any of the YMCA is $300.
Ours is probably the best bargain in the state of
$50
Connecticut.
a week, right?
Yeah.
$50 a week. But I guess my only question is, do we charge the Lyme, the out-of-town, the same as Old Lyme?
Yes, we do.
See, in my mind, that's something that needs to be looked at, because we're footing the bill, not a significant amount, but even if it's a 10%, something more, I think that's something the Board of Selectmen should consider.
That whole subject has been brought up and discussed and kind of got put on the back burner across the board when Tim was here. And it hasn't been resurrected yet, but it's coming.
I think it's a great, as Matt said, I think it's a great program.
Yeah.
$50 a week.
Right.
If it goes 1 day a week.
Right.
It's a good deal.
Right.
Compared to what else is out there.
Right.
But I do think we should, I think if it's.
I can look at it, and I think we're very close to at least breaking even, but like I say, like soccer, I'm ahead of the game there, and basketball, I'm ahead of the game there.
I mean, but what your income is probably, you're looking at covering the staff that you hire for the summer. What it doesn't count is your staff time to get ready for it, to handle the registrations and manage that part of it. Because that's part of what you do April, May, and June.
Right.
But there's a value to that too, because you can't do other things. So,
Points are well taken.
My 2 cents is just.
Points are all well taken.
I mean, even
It's
if you
getting more
charge
expensive, that's the other thing, because we have minimum wage going to $15.69.
Yes.
The only other question I'll ask, and I've attended a prior meeting with you and the Board of Selectmen, so it's really for the others rather than me. We have $13,000 for goose control in Haynes Park and Cross Lane, and another $5,000 for Town Woods, a total of 18. So just tell the board what we're buying.
What happened was, we've had it in the budget previously. Last year it was, I submitted it again, but it was voted to be removed. I didn't disagree with that decision, because I didn't think it was very cost effective. And my statement when it was removed was, okay, I don't think it was very cost effective. I agree with that. But what's going to happen now is when people complain to me, we're not doing anything versus we were doing something before. And that happened. How come we're not doing it? So it got discussed again at the Parks and Rec Commission meeting, and the Parks and Rec Commission voted to have me put it back in the budget, so that's why it's back in there.
But tell us practically who's doing what when?
What are you doing different?
What are we paying for?
Going to have a different outcome because there hasn't been any change, whether we spend 9,000 or 13,000.
I'm not disagreeing, right.
But
we had
do we have
somebody do it before.
somebody with a dog, or
Right.
dog plural, and so just tell us what that is.
We had that, and we were operating under budget prior to that. We didn't have them at Cross Lane. That was added requested by the Parks and Rec Commission. And our budget covered her time with her dog and that process and stuff like that. The door got closed on her, said we're not going to use you anymore, like midstream. I don't know if she's willing to come back or not, and I haven't got an estimate from somebody else yet, because again, it's not a very effective thing, so I have that in the back of my mind. I put the numbers back in that the Parks and Rec Commission requested based on what was there previous.
Okay, so
That's where I am with
it's an
that.
appropriation that's available, but no contract has yet been
Right, correct.
entered into. And would you contemplate that somebody would come with a dog or two to each of the parks once or twice a day, or how often?
Usually twice a day, and what happened before, she would come at her own schedule, then she would come when we made calls.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So some days it would be numerous times, and some days
I think we would agree that as soon as the dog leaves the goose.
they come back, yes.
I remember her describing the
Yeah.
fact that she'd try to get to him via kayak with her car, and it was almost like they started to recognize her.
They recognize her car, honest to God.
She and the dog.
Recognized for a while.
That's a fact.
Whatever
That's a
car
fact.
she drives, they would get
She started taking two different cars.
still. I mean,
I think the reason, I think most of us who have been on here sort of have a history with this, and the reason that we stopped it was because it was so ineffectual.
Right.
Like, it was pointless. The geese would go in the water, they would leave, they'd come right back. It was just an exercise. We were just spending money and getting nothing. So what I wouldn't want to do, and what I'd ask as a Board of Finance member is, if we know it doesn't work, let's think maybe there's something different we can do, because that clearly, we've tested this out. We don't have to relearn this lesson, from my perspective. So it didn't work.
Can I just interject that when we had the Haynes Park Beautification Group, there were some other options provided that were looked at by various members of the group as well.
So I guess my request would be that Don talks to you and the Board of Selectmen in deciding the best approach for the summer, since no contract has been entered yet.
Well, Martha has an excellent point. The committee did put together, there's an expert in town named Denise Savageau, and she's offered her services free of charge. And she reinforced that a multi-pronged approach is the one that's most likely to be successful, and that committee's proposal is a multi-pronged approach, including coddling eggs and a variety of other things. And I think that if we're going to coddle eggs, we better get to it ASAP, because those ducklings are going to be walking across Route 1 in like a month.
don't you have to be licensed to do that?
I have no idea about coddling eggs, but I'm guessing you have to do it before the ducklings are walking across.
Can't we just put no geese allowed signs up?
We could try that, but I don't think it's going to work.
You could allow other
Signs don't work on humans. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think
you could allow other people to bring some of their dogs. You could appoint some of us, just 5 or 6 of us, and then if anything happens and we don't pick up anything, then you know who was there.
Well, the first thing you would have to do is lift the ordinance that prohibits dogs in the parks to begin with.
That doubles the problem. Dogs and fans and spoofing.
Any other questions for Don?
No. Well, I mean, I guess are we as a Board of Finance recommending that we not pay for contracted services, or that we leave the money in there and recommend that Park and Rec explore other options besides the Goose Lady. Like, I guess I'm not sure which direction our discussion is going. Are we recommending removing money, or just, we'll leave you this money, but maybe try something else?
I'd like to wait and allocate the money when we see a robust plan in place, instead of putting it out there now without knowing what's going to happen.
And the fact that the line item says contracted services Goose.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's 18,000 between
Yeah.
the two.
Okay.
And for something that doesn't work.
Right.
I
Hasn't been
Yeah.
proven to work. We did it for years. We
Yeah.
did it for 10 or 15 years.
Yes,
And-
with two different vendors.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions before I ask for a motion?
Well, can we get a number without salaries? Since we
Without salaries.
Because we haven't done that yet.
And without salaries, but does include the seasonal number. And take away the contracted services Goose
Okay,
is 262690.
262690.
Right.
Okay, that's a number that omits salaries and the Goose contract.
Right, but does include the seasonal number.
It does include seasonal, okay. So that, which is the biggest number in
Sure.
the budget.
Correct.
So, okay. Okay.
Any further questions for Don?
Yeah, I have some questions. I have a question about when we've got swim lines and then swim lines equipment and supplies.
Right. That was the contracted cost of installing and taking out the swim lines.
That's what,
And then to cover breakage and
okay,
boats ripping up the lines and
okay,
that stuff,
okay.
repairing stuff.
Is there a reason why 2 years ago it was really high? In 22, 23?
Must have been.
Yes.
We had to replace everything?
Yeah.
So, but we think that that's going to be, you don't have to do that again this year?
No.
Okay.
We bought a lot of stuff last year, sure. Swim lines is in a little bit of a predicament right now in beach cleaning because of the previous vendor has got some issues going on that
Okay.
trying to resolve right now. I mean, the swim lines are still going to go in and everything, but matter who's going to do it. I have another estimate, which is very similar.
Okay.
I guess the only other thing I have a question on before we make a motion is the internet at Haynes Park.
Tom Meyer.
Okay, but, well,
That shouldn't-
he didn't start it. It came from the Park and Rec Commission as a
Came from,
request.
Phil Parchek was put in here.
So what's the purpose? Security?
So can I just say that we took it, now it's listed twice because Tom has it in his IT budget. But we took it out of Tom's budget yesterday morning because until the senior center goes online, there is no reason, we want to run these cameras together.
This is Haynes Park, not Townwoods.
I'm sorry, Haynes Park, sorry. I know. But what we're trying to do is all three would be on the same system through the senior center. That senior center would be the receiving point.
Okay.
So there's got to be that's what they told us
Okay.
through CT Comp. So
Really? For Haynes Park? Wow.
it would go that far.
The number we saw for cameras at Haynes Park when we were last talking IT was somewhere in the $18,000 to $20,000 range.
This is just for the internet
Right, but
service
this is,
for it.
right, the number we're talking about now is just for the service.
Right.
But I just want to ask, what assets that we are protecting at Haynes Park that are not insured?
Right.
I know one window was broken at Haynes Park right after the bathroom was put in, but if we're spending $18,000 to $20,000 to protect a window, I would be concerned about that.
Plus $300 a month for the internet service to do that, to monitor it.
Well, is the internet service, and maybe, Don, you can answer this. I know we had mentioned at some point in time in the past, putting internet service in parks like Haynes Park so people could just use the park and have internet access themselves, have Wi-Fi at the park. Is this...
This is mostly for the camera
Is it
stuff.
just for
It's
camera?
camera stuff,
Okay.
yeah.
Diana, you're right. It is, there would also be a leg of it open to the public.
Okay.
Yet, There are cell towers, not for every service right there. Again, is that something the town wants to do, is start providing Wi-Fi service at our parks? Town Woods, Haynes Park, Cross Lane. I don't, you know, so I know the original intent of this $3,000 or $3,300 was to provide internet service for security cameras. And we even talked to Region 18 to see, well, for the boathouse, to collaborate. I mean, the boathouse is ours. That's probably the largest asset at Haynes Park, but there aren't any windows in the boathouse.
We do have a
There
back,
are.
the boathouse is protected by
Security
a
system.
security system. If anybody goes in there, I can guarantee you the police are there right away.
So,
Wait a minute, Andy's not done?
it just, I don't recall from being, when I was on the IT committee and we were meeting regularly and we talked about Townwood, Senior Center, and Haynes Park, I don't think they were linked. At that time, they were not linked together. They were all going up to the cloud, so they would be able to be accessed by the police department. All the cameras would be able to be accessed in town hall or wherever you wanted them to be. They weren't linked together. The link was making sure we used the same cameras, the same vendor, so they were all compatible. Whether it was town hall, police department, fire department, wherever cameras end up eventually. That was the gist, but they weren't linked to, Town Woods was definitely linked to Senior Center. No question about that, just because of the infrastructure that was needed to get the cameras out to the field house, or at least at the gate area. But Haynes Park wasn't part of that. I really question.
Mr. Meyer is upstairs. I'd be more than happy to go
I don't
up
know
and
if
ask
we want to get into that discussion here because we have a full agenda.
I know, but I'm just letting you know that
Yeah.
you can leave it in, we can take it, we can pull it out at the end, whatever, but,
I mean, I think Candace's point about spending more than $20,000 to protect a window is also valid.
Well, I understand there was a comment from the Park and Rec Commission that they weren't going to put a gazebo out there until there was security cameers to protect the gazebo.
Right, but,
That was,
so $20,000 to protect
a
up,
$20,000, $30,000 gazebo
yeah.
or something.
I'm gonna recognize
Ongoing
Fred.
Well, Andy just answered my question partly, you know, why do you need a security camera there in the first place? He mentioned the gazebo.
Yeah.
But that's a very well-lit place. There's quite a lot of traffic that goes by, so I think it's worthwhile asking, is it really needed? It's expensive.
I didn't request it. I think that just the general discussion came up when we were talking about cameras, mostly at Townwoods Park and not being, and the senior center, not being able to identify some vehicles that were there that we were trying to identify. Then the whole thing went to townwide, and that's how it got thrown in the mix, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's grown out of control. I don't know.
So it seems to me that the internet is for two purposes: security cameras on the one hand and just internet access for the public on the other. And I would bet you that if we didn't care about security cameras, the Board of Selectmen wouldn't say we want to implement it just for the general public. So, and this isn't the only expense. This is just the internet access separate and apart from any hardware necessary. So if the question, and this is for you, Martha, if there is a question on the table today whether we really need security cameras at Haynes Park, do we want to take it out of the budget and you guys can discuss it and put it back in if you think we should, or conversely, the Board of Selectmen thinks we should, and therefore we leave it in.
Jude's here too, and she can weigh in as well, but my personal feeling is I haven't heard much from the public saying they can't get service, and they need service there. I know that Candace is a rower, and she's probably there more than all of us, perhaps. Are you able to get service? And most importantly, if there was an emergency, can you get 911 there?
We can certainly get 911. There's no question about that. There are times when service is spotty, and we had always envisioned that when the cameras came in, that the service would be enhanced. So the service was kind of like a rider on the cameras. So if the cameras aren't there, then we've gone for eons with the service we have, and I think, I just have a hard time justifying the cameras for a nice-to-have enhancement in service.
You know, there are many grants available now for service, but right now it's for very rural areas with low-income housing and things like that they're trying to enhance. Certainly, as more and more companies come into play, and they do every day because I get the emails, there will be more grants available for parks and things, and I think that would be a great thing for us to look into.
And I think we also know from personal experience that if it's $3,300 a year now, 2 years from now, it's not going to be $3,300. We'll get that 2-year, $80 a month promotional deal, and it'll continue to grow.
Jude?
Other than public safety or security, I would like to think that when I go to a park, I'm not using the internet and my child is not hanging out on their phone.
Yeah.
I would think a park as a place of recreation and enjoyment of being outdoors. That may be naive on my part, but if we have to provide that, let's charge more for our
Get them to
parking
chase the
taxes,
geese.
things like that. But I do agree with the safety, as long as we can get access.
Hannah?
I think the internet access at the parks is a larger conversation that maybe the Parks and Rec Commission and the Board of Selectmen should take on. I mean, personally, I think that with so many more people working from home, it would be really nice and you're going to put a gazebo down there, it would be really nice to have Wi-Fi, that people could potentially work outside, work together, sit next to each other, have a conversation instead of being alone in your home. I know Essex did that, and they've seen a huge uptick in people just hanging out in the park and doing work. So they did it with grants during COVID, but they've continued it because so many people like it so much. To Andy's point, when people like something, then they think it's there to stay. So it is something where it needs to be balanced, where I just think that maybe Parks and Rec Commission needs to discuss, like, which park does this go into? Does it go into all of our parks? Like, maybe it makes more sense to do it at Senior Center and Town Woods and just have that be the only park where we offer something like that. But I just think it doesn't, Jude's point is well taken, that, go outside and be outside. It doesn't need to be every single park.
Well, but it also appears to me that the majority of the cost is for the cameras, not the 3,000 current internet service. So my own view is that Parks and Rec and the Board of Selectmen should discuss this further, and that for the moment we should take it off.
Good. I mean, there's $3,300 in there for this year that's not getting used. So.
Yeah, 30 in there.
Right, because it never got installed. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Any further
So take
questions?
$3,300 off the $262,690.
That would be $250.
259,390.
259, Anita, what?
390.
Okay.
I know we can
They have a
further discuss
motion?
this. I'll make a motion for Park and Rec for the 259,390.
Second.
And the seconds, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. So you got that, Anita. We're going with the 259,390 minus the internet, minus the geese, and minus the labor for the moment.
Correct.
Thank you, Don. So down to Town Woods. I'll just start off by asking whether, so we have two similar issues. One is the goose control at Town Woods, and then is there an internet number at Town Woods?
No.
Okay. So, Don, do you have any comments you want to make about the Town Woods budget?
I would think that the goose discussion should be similar. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward as what's been. bumps in there because we had a lot of mechanical problems and issues, but they're all fixed so far.
So it's getting older.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if we discussed this at, when we met, or if it was something we thought about later, but the $7,600 for the gate, looked into an electric gate.
The problem with that, we didn't look into that specifically, the suggestion at their last meeting. We talked about it, thought about it. It would work, but then it doesn't work anymore when we start opening the building.
Okay.
So it would be a kind of a situation.
Right.
Like if you had an electronic gate that opened at 7 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m., whatever, and that's what it did on its own, that's good, but there's a good portion of the year where we open and close the building as well.
You're saying that the building at
person who does
the
it.
building at the far end of
Yeah.
town.
Okay.
Is it just the bathrooms, or is it the whole building gets locked and unlocked?
Just the center door, which has access to the bathrooms, is open at all times. The
Yeah,
storage
and then
units on each side are always locked.
And then
We check them
but
because
the
people
bathrooms are what gets locked up?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, I mean, you could conceivably put some kind of a electronic lock on the bathrooms as well.
But if you had a person out there clearing the park, I mean, the gate could close and they could be
Right.
at 8:30
You can
in there.
Get out.
out,
hopefully.
but you can't get in. Same thing.
At the building, the bathrooms are a regular door, and you could put but the door that closes the building is sliding like barn doors.
It's like a barn door.
Yeah, I don't think that would work very good, yeah.
Right, but those, you don't normally close those at night, do
Yes,
you? Oh,
we
you
do,
close,
yes.
you lock those too?
That's how because
Okay.
right now the bathrooms don't have locks on them.
Okay, that was my question.
Just the outside door has, yeah.
Okay.
But isn't the whole area closed after a certain time?
Pardon me?
Isn't the entire area closed to the
Yes.
public? after
So we close the building up too, because people can walk in and do whatever.
They close the outside bathroom door shuts and locks. So when the park is
I guess
closed.
so mean the gate can be down after a certain time.
But the gate prevents cars, but not pedestrians.
Pedestrians.
Right,
Yeah, somebody could park at the senior center and walk in.
yeah. They bike in, they walk in, they walk in and camp in the field, and they do all kinds of things.
Etch their own.
And we have had vandalism out there. We've had the building spray painted.
We had etchings in the shingles on the side by the playground with rocks
Yeah.
or whatever, and we've had a couple broken windows out there that are being fixed.
Do we have security cameras in place today?
No.
They're there, but they don't,
Right.
They're not operating?
no, they operate, but they're just not,
Not the quality.
you can't identify a car coming in, especially if it's a little dark. You can see it, you can go, hey, it looks like a Honda Accord, but that's about it. You know, I have seen videos out there that we checked on things when kids race around in the parking lot and tear it up. And I find a car, can't identify the license plate. People have gotten out of the cars and walked, still can't identify the people. They're not very,
And people seem to know that, so it's not a deterrent, apparently.
doesn't seem to be.
And those cameras,
They've been there a long
IT consultant does not recommend them being on they're
Right.
cameras from China. And they were cheap, and they're not necessarily secure in terms of being able to secure them on a network. And they weren't positioned well either, and that was the whole thing.
No, because you could stand back from the building and throw a rock at the window and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that, again, back to the Board of Selectmen, that as far as it goes tonight, we have this budget item for labor to lock the gates. If the Board of Selectmen wants to explore a technology solution, obviously you can do that, but not tonight.
Well, yeah, in Townwide Park with the construction going on at the senior center, there'll be additional gating from the construction company up as well. That they'll be putting something up so that you can't get into the building area. But
Was there potentially talk of a gate prior to the senior center?
they'll be doing something.
Yeah.
Well, the senior center would like us to put another gate up as well, or move the current gate closer to the street
Right.
after construction.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But They will have some security cameras on the construction trailer that is there as well, that they will monitor.
Any, yes?
Also in that number, the reason why the gatekeeper went up is because you wanted this person 7 days a week, right?
Well, the last couple of years, the weather has allowed that. When we first started all this, because we had seemingly a harsher winter, we would keep the gate closed like usually January, February because of with snow and all this stuff. But the last few years, it hasn't been that. We've been opening it every day. And people are using the playground. Or just going for a walk or something.
Any other questions for Don on the Townwood Park budget? I'll entertain a motion for, what is it, do we have any labor in this, Anita?
Do you want just the 5,000 out, or do you want the 7,650 for the gatekeeper out as well?
I thought
That can't go away.
I think just the 5,000 out.
Would be 1, 4, 6, 5, 6, 0.
I'll make a motion for 146,560.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Abstention, motion passes. Then we're down to the very bottom of the page, fireworks. We have a budget of 24,722. Any questions or discussion regarding fireworks?
And Steve, or Vera, let's get a definite number, so it's based on last year's number.
With a 5% increase.
5%.
And what's the question?
Steve Rivera was supposed to get a number from the company. He reached out and he has not gotten us close. So basically that number is last year's number was a 5% increase.
Okay, so it's possible that
We'll
that
take a
number...
few pockets that
Well,
way.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you tell them you have $24,000.
Yeah.
They give you $24,000 in fireworks.
And that's our budget.
Right. That's as much as we can spend.
And this year, we're only going to put in one permit for fireworks, and we're going to have rain date and the date on it, so that if it happens, we won't have to do a scramble.
I'd make a motion for the 24,722 fireworks.
And the bottom number is
It's on the agenda, it's two different items. The fireworks and then Memorial Day. So,
is there a second to...
I'll second.
Okay, so Andy and Kim, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 24,722.
it seems like Memorial Day, we've never spent the 4,000.
Yeah, what do we have for
We
that?
spent 2,800, we spent 22 last year.
Yeah, 2021, yeah.
2021 we did, right?
Exactly.
You know,
So,
In the COVID year, we spent
that perhaps someone wasn't coding bills correctly.
okay.
In 23, 24. I haven't seen anything come across my desk, but it seems odd that it's only $86 when...
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Well, that's true.
It hasn't happened yet.
Also, did it rain on the year that we did not spend?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Where they can
Yeah.
spend?
And still might have had to pay some of the bands
Yep.
that were contracted to come. So, okay.
And they are doing something this year because Tony's been in my office. Tony's still doing it.
Yes.
And we're only talking about $1,000 variance-ish.
Yeah, right, so.
I'll make a motion for 4,000.
Second.
On the seconds, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. John is excused.
Thank you, Don.
No, thank you. Any questions comes up, let me know.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Put those duck signs up, would you?
Yeah, let's talk. We'll have a discussion on good.
Okay.
So you The last one.
Next up is animal control.
Hello there.
Good evening.
We haven't,
Right,
One outside house, at the round table. Okay, right.
I'll go to my car.
One on my desk as well.
Like 15 pounds. So many coyotes.
All those fresh eggs. Enjoy.
Lynn, do you want to make any comments? Do you have a copy of this budget? Do you know what it is?
I don't have one. I don't have one on me. I'm so sorry, but I'm not prepared.
Extra book is still down in,
Okay.
it's down in your office?
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. If you want to look, it's going to be, here you are,
Yep.
right there.
Mhm. Okay, thanks. I've already had a meeting with some of you, so do you have any questions for me?
I've got some pencil numbers, must have been from the Board of Selectmen meeting, for animal control heating. I have 2,500 penciled in, and for animal expense, I have $10,000 penciled in, and I have no recollection where those numbers come from. Does anybody else?
I don't know, heating?
The heating, we didn't do anything with the heating, did we?
No, I didn't think so.
Mm-mm.
So you think the 2,000 is sufficient for heating?
Yes, I think so. But I don't see the heating bills. But as past years, it looks like it would be.
And then for animal expense, went up from
Yes.
historically about $8,000 or $9,000
Well,
to
so-
15.
BJ, that animal expense is that we're now more accurately capturing because Lynn has a revenue fund for the animals, so we're making sure that we're getting the full bill from the vet and not a partial bill from the vet.
Well, so that would argue for the 15,000, not a reduction to 10.
Right.
and just the heating on our financials we just got tonight, which are through the end of February, year to date for 8 months is $1,390. So
I would say 2,000 is.
I think it seems like the 2,000 is a safe number.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that's out of your control, that if fuel costs go through the roof, you have no control over that.
And there was some openings. The dog room was the dog room was very, very cold, and we just got that all fixed underneath the guillotine thing. So that has made a difference in the past month or so.
Right.
So,
And your
yeah.
attic insulation is going to make big.
Yes, that's going to make a huge difference, yeah.
Kim, can you explain what you were saying about the revenue stream? I wasn't there for that.
Right, so Lynn previously didn't know that there's a fund in town that when people want to donate money to go towards animal vet expenses, that they can donate that money to the town's fund so that the town can pay the vet for spay neuter, for sick animals, for those kinds of things. Previously, people had been making donations directly to the vet's office, and we had built up credit with the vet.
Okay.
So we're making it so that
because
we have accurate accounting of what it costs.
Because year to date, well, the last meeting we had, what was it, 16,000 so far in vet bills, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it was that I told you.
I don't remember.
So the rest has come from people donating. Up until now, like I said, I did not have any idea, so people would donate to the vet, call. They still do, unfortunately. They don't always, but they'll call with a credit card and put a credit, on our veterinarian. So when I do get donations like that, I let you guys know, like, this bill was paid because somebody called in and give them the information. We had never done it like that before, so.
And these are for animals under your control.
Yeah.
And basically, so it was kind of complicated, all in good heart,
Yeah, absolutely.
but kind of funky from a financial control standpoint.
Yeah.
So now, to the extent that the town animal control as a town agency pays any money and somebody wants to subsidize it, they should make a contribution to the town fund.
So this is just the actual, like, the real number?
Yeah. So the people always thought that when they were donating, this is what I was told by residents, that they were afraid that it was not going to the animals. So that was the issue. And I assumed that also because I have turned money in that I was not, said, here, you have this much of revenue. I was never even told about the revenue account, never knew about it. So that's what the, misconception is with the townspeople. They thought that you guys were just taking the money, and I'm trying to say no, not at all. So now more people are just donating straight, writing a check or coming here and dropping off, so.
I think some of that comes from dogs.
But we also have a lot of drop-offs, a lot more animals. Veterinarians are more expensive than ever now. A lot of people losing their homes, a lot of owner surrenders. It's, it's been one of the worst, I'd say, years. Do you take animals from outside of Old Lyme? If an ACO asks us to, it's called, that we do it favor to favor. But I always, at no cost of the town. If they are, want us to, the animal has to be, vetted, shot, all that. Yeah.
Then let me ask, the full-time salary number and the part-time wages number are both going up. Is that increase attributable to an increase in hours or an increase in the per hour wage or both?
Well,
Both.
we haven't done salaries yet.
That's true.
She doesn't decide.
Yeah.
That's true, okay.
But the hours are going up.
But you have
for
requested
sure.
that the hours go
Yeah,
up. From what to what?
Well, we're getting a lot of calls, a lot of complaints, a lot of more animals to take care of, a lot more vet visits, a lot more writing tickets. It's just, it really has increased.
So for your hours and for the Kim's hours, what are you requesting as a change next year compared to the current status quo?
Probably the assistant needs more hours.
But what's the number?
Well, right now she's averaging, I don't know, I wish Tracy was here. I'd say right now she's averaging 20, 25, and really we have her for 18. It's usually 6 hours a day, but that very rarely
So nominally it's 18, but it would make more sense to you if it were...
25 actually would be,
Okay.
But it's so hard because you really can't tell year from year how it's going to be. I've seen it fluctuate so differently,
And she's paid by the hour, so we just have an appropriation and she either is within it or exceeds it.
Yes. And now that I am full-time, that's...
And you're full-time at how many hours?
30.
30. Jude?
Anita pointed out, I don't know if it was this budget season or just during the year, there's also something called the dog fund that has a current balance of $45,000.
Yeah.
And if Anita could explain how that money ends up in there, do we decide that it gets used for animals? What are we going to use dog funds?
Right. My assumption is that some of that money comes from dog licenses.
It does, right.
It's all
of it does.
It's on licenses over the years, and it's just accumulated.
But it's not being used.
Are there any state requirements for how dog license money gets spent?
There are some rules, I have a little more into exactly where, but it
might offset some of our expenses.
Yeah, I mean, it would make perfect sense to me that money from dog licenses be used for
Supplement
animal control care of animals. That
Also for the actual, remember the postage? We have to make sure that that is used for the postage and not, right or no? Is the town clerk doing?
the postage has to be
Right,
used for postage.
now First Now is going to use the dog licensing fund.
Right.
For her postage, when she sends out the mailing for the licenses, she
Yeah.
is using her animal control.
Okay.
Instead of the dog license. That's
So-
how we started talking about the dog licenses.
Okay.
But it seems to be a significant number that could offset some of the expenses related if it's allowed.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how long it took to get to
Right, I'm wondering if
$42,000 at the top,
20 years
because
or...
there's interest income this year of $2,000 on that money, there's fees charged for goods and services of $2,400 and expenditures of $1,200. I don't know whether the $1,200 was postage
Probably was.
It might be.
for dog licenses or something, which makes sense.
No, the 1,200, the expenditures,
From
from there we pay, every quarter our adoption fees, and that's.
Oh, okay.
So we can pay the adoption fees that we have to pay with the state.
Yeah, maybe if we make it, so
Well-
the green ticket she gives us, we pay the
But
adoption.
that's just for if they're getting spayed and neutered and you're buying that voucher, right?
Correct.
Any other adoption fees do not go to the state, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I think the issue is a revenue issue, not an expense issue. So, Anita, if you would determine whether or not there are any restrictions on how we use license fees, and if the answer is none, then it's stupid to just hold it in a fund and never expend it. And it would make sense to apply it to animal control just as a revenue item.
I'll go on to the state library.
And I'm not sure, we bought a new van a few years ago. Did that come out of the dog fund?
I don't.
I think it did.
I think it did.
I'm almost,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's where Nicole told me donations went. Any donations that were bought, to the town or mailed to town, whatever, went to a dog fund, which was there to pay for high-end items such as a van, a refrigerator, whatever, a roof. So that's why people get, that's where that money, I was told, was going, so.
But if Anita looks into the rules as to how it can be spent, then we might have other guidelines. Or the Board of
Absolutely.
Selectmen comes up with another set of guidelines for how that money can be spent. I mean, I do remember we got the van 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
It's a 19, right? 2019, I think it is.
Yeah.
20,
Right.
Ed says 2019, that van
2019 will pull up?
for the transit,
Yeah.
2019.
So 5
And
years ago.
Anita, do we have a second animal control fund now?
Revenue for donation, that
So there's a donation fund in addition to,
there's the one that is through
Yep.
the general fund. Right now, to date, last year, there was no money ever donated. This year, to date, $1,590 in there of money that she has turned into us. And
Yeah.
that goes, again, for expenses.
and it may make sense from an accounting standpoint to keep two separate funds, so we know how much is coming from licenses
Right.
versus charitable contributions.
I just had one other, the animal control advertising line. So this comes out of the state statute to advertise found animals. And I think I should have maybe looked into this more, but I think the Day is the only paper that you can advertise in, or?
No, I talked to the state.
Okay, good.
I think, didn't I call you about that? And we were gonna talk to the lady from,
Limeline?
yes. So any paper that is published,
Even if it's only
even if
online?
it's only
Okay.
Lime, no, it's gotta be like a
Gotta be
paper.
print.
Yes.
That was because
printed.
Limeline doesn't print.
Okay, so was there another Lime paper though too? Isn't the Lime Times? Yeah.
Which is through the day.
Through the day.
Okay,
Which
so
is-
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, so you were, it has to be in a paper, you were right.
It has to be printed.
So
And it-
that, I don't know what we put down for there, but we.
$50.
Yeah, I think
Which
we
isn't
should
gonna buy
probably.
anything.
No, that's not gonna buy anything.
Yeah.
It's line, but it's not really, it's basically one news story and 4 pages of ads.
I know, it's
Um,
like a,
But actually, it might, I'm thinking Events Magazine, which is quarterly, could,
We also get the Friends publication that comes out over on Friends.
Yeah.
That might be able to work, and I don't know if that's every other month.
I don't
Whenever they.
I don't know either. The Neighbors
how about the
magazine?
senior center?
Yeah.
I feel like the neighbors one would be the better place to
I
put
don't
it
think
in.
because it's
Yeah.
just,
And nobody
But
looks,
would that satisfy the statute?
I don't know.
if it's a publication and it needs to be in print,
and the editor is right down the street.
and
I
you
don't know.
do,
Is that a
Have,
paper?
It's a magazine,
Then I'll say that.
but.
I'll
but it
find
goes to
out.
everybody's mailbox in town,
okay.
unlike the Day.
I mean, those rules are so antiquated,
Yeah.
legal postings.
And it's not like they're gonna, yeah.
And
Behind the
I
times.
did reach out to state level people and say, hey, you might want to update these rules.
Oh, good, you did? Did you have any luck?
Well, that's the thing.
I
Leave
can't
the $50
remember.
in there, so we
then
have-
why don't we
Yeah, I mean, my only concern was $50 is gonna buy you one ad in the day.
But we haven't done
We
it.
haven't been a quarter of an ad.
Too many voices one at a time. Kim, what were you saying?
No, I mean, my only concern was that it's still in the state statutes and $50 only goes so far, but it doesn't seem like anybody at the state level is looking at that.
Until somebody brings it to their attention. So Lynn, how about you and I will sit down and write a letter to Devin Carney and Martha Marks and say, somebody
There you go.
should really look at this because it's antiquated.
From a budgetary
That sounds
standpoint,
good
we
to
can
me.
leave it in.
I think the $50.
$50. Any further questions of Lynn?
I wanted to quickly revisit the AC repair and maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned at the preliminary meeting how there's a lot of hair and I think gets clogged up with the AC units. And I'm just wondering
Yes.
if there's some way to filter out the air so that this isn't a recurring problem.
I have no idea.
I was told by Eric that there's now a maintenance schedule and that the filters are going to be taken out and cleaned and vacuumed and so that we will not burn out the motor on the AC and that we should be in a better shape. I believe that you feel that the air conditioning unit that you bought last year in the cat room is working well?
Yes, with the other unit, yes, it is. There's no need to put that major expense into that air conditioning system right now. It's just a lot of money if you're going to do it the way that, maybe somewhere down the future. But if you're going to do it the way Benedetto said, that's just, I don't know.
And the reason why her number was low last year is because she had a carryover for a lot of repairs and maintenance to your heating system.
Yep, because we got a new boiler. And we
Right
had,
now,
It seems like a lot for maintenance. I know,
well,
I'm just wondering if there's a way that could
Fred,
be
right
avoided.
now we have a problem with mice and they're in the attic and we have to take out the insulation. We have to do some rodent mitigation and then we have to put in new insulation and we have to pay someone to do it because the people will not come in and take out the insulation. I think the order is they won't take it out until you've done your mitigation. Once you've done your mitigation, they'll take out the thing. Then we have a company come in and clean and sanitize it. Then they'll come back in and put in the insulation.
in.
So it's a process. Even though it's a smaller building, it's still a huge process. And Eric is working all the cogs to make sure that they all come into tune.
And I think the filtering question is just one of frequency. And this is a real issue with pets. My daughter knows too well. So, every air conditioning unit has a filter, but it should be cleaned more frequently if you have animals than if you don't.
Right. Well, okay, so when I took over, I don't think it had ever been cleaned. It had never been cleaned, so that's when I found out that, yes, it does. Even every 6 months it can be cleaned.
Or more. Cleaning it or changing the filter.
And we do it.
A lot less expensive than replacing the air conditioning unit.
Right, and we do it now in between also. We'll pull it out because it's just a plastic reusable filter and you stick it right back in. So we do that there's one in the office, one in the dog room, one in the cat room. So but for the main, the building is getting old. There's a lot of stuff wrong with the building, So
Those are the things that Martha was just mentioning.
yeah, that's the most important right now because I feel also with re-insulating that attic that the heat is going to be so much better.
And you're cooling too.
Yes, exactly, yep.
Do you think the building is functioning the way it originally was intended, or are you using it in different ways now that are just not as useful, as effective? Like, are there more animals there than there were in the past? Are there more rooms that you're using different kinds of animals? I mean, I feel like I hear about people with weird pets all the time, and they probably can't be together, and I just, it is a really old building, and limping the building along and figuring out what a long-term solution is this building even functional anymore for what you use it for?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, a lot of people don't have the separate rooms like we do, the office, the dog room, the cat room, and then a little room in the back. Right now we have 2 rabbits and a little room in the back. Yeah. But as far as more of the animals, when I started working here with Martha years and years ago, there was a ton of animals, and same with Sandy. And then I got everybody out of there. Literally, there was months there was nobody in there. But now, COVID was quiet.
But now all of a sudden it's like, you know, like I said, people are losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, and now it's definitely picking up, like from not really ever having any dogs to having 4. I mean, the cats, honestly, are very easy to get in and out. I mean, they're very adoptable. You're going to foster some kittens for me, too? Yeah, they don't care about, you know, they're like, we don't need to kill mice because we're spoiled, but yeah, so I think right now, yeah, it is. I mean, please come down and look and tell me what you think, you know. I don't think that, like, I really do, unless it gets extremely worse, think that we have enough room, and we don't have enough storage space. That is the problem.
So Eric has found a shed for her.
Okay.
So we can put things like crates for animals, things that aren't going to mold or be ruined outside in a shed, and will be. So we've got some money to cover that.
That's the major, that's like, there is no storage in there, and we don't want to go up in the attic, obviously, even once it's all clean.
Yeah,
Eric and I looked at it, and it's not really even adequate space to stick stuff. Like, we have fish tanks up there and bird cages that if we ever come across that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to throw all those cages out or anything else in case there is a big, huge hoarding situation or something where we have to take a lot, you know. But
we just went through a Kerma study, and they did a walkthrough, and there was only one fridge. They wanted Lynn to put her lunch in a fridge that wasn't with any other type of food or things. So one of our employees donated a fridge so that they could have a place to put their lunches and their drinks, and that was great. That refrigerator's been there since before I got there, so, and it's still running. It's just the freezer is not very good at all. We really try to get animals that have deceased to the vet as soon as possible, but sometimes they're not open on the weekends, so we do have to stick them in the freezer or refrigerator.
Where do you put the fish?
What,
in the freezer?
The goldfish?
Keep very well.
Oh.
So we should move on. Any further questions for Lynn? And I will entertain a motion for 102.
Well, we gotta back the salaries out of that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Salary, 26,100.
I'll move 26-1.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes 26-100.
Lynn,
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Lynn, thanks for doing such a great job of getting all that revenue stuff straightened out this year. It's great.
Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here for Public Works?
Andy, I didn't let you know when I started using it, I didn't need these.
Eric added, a couple of entries today
How are you?
to his budget, and what's in your book.
This is for Public Works?
Yeah, and then after after that's done, this is for transit, transfer station. What happened is, in the budget, we have 14,000 for landfill, and it's the same company we have been using, and they went up to 16,500. So this is, and the copy of the contract.
Do you have another one of those?
You've taken,
Yeah, so I'm just, this will be the second, when he talks about.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have another one of these?
Do you have any more copies of
I can go make more.
Public Works?
I can go make more. I made like 8 or 9 of them. I don't know.
Well, there's 9 of us.
Matt, you and
Those are
I,
okay, I'm sorry.
can you share with Fred or somebody?
It'll give you his when he's done.
Yep.
Because I can give him another one tomorrow. So then, will it be enough?
No, I think you're still short one. And Michelle, did you
Do
get
you want
one?
me to go do it? I'll do it.
And Michelle needs
I'll go
one
do
too.
it. How many do you need? How many do we need? Raise your hand if you need one. All right. Wait, give me the other one. Why did you give me this
The dirt?
Yeah, and it's cracking all the pavement and falling in.
And right in front of the school? I know the one that...
And right next to the school, you know where the driveway is in the park?
Next
to that lake.
I saw the one by the house where that rain just took it all right out.
It's all gone now, and today it was like, people were, I mean, it's like this deep.
They drive
and
there,
people
go.
are just driving over it, and so the road is just crumbling away.
Race it from the...
Oh, your new pavement. It's gonna be mad at you, don't drive over that. No, it's this, it's the mile.
It's on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of it. That's a walk
I mean,
in the park.
the district probably
Erase it
should,
from mine.
because
It'll be done
there is no
tomorrow.
parking, so all the parents.
Nice day.
Yeah.
That machine out.
Yep.
Bought a few years ago, the hot patch or cold patch or whatever it is.
During drop off or pick
Yeah, well, the problem is we'll get in there, we'll fill the dirt, and I can't do anything till the
I feel like you need
open
to
up.
put like a ton of gravel
cold
in
patch.
I think after this.
I tell you though.
Drive all over town, placing dirt in places.
What's that?
I think after all this rain,
Oh.
Well, you know what, too? You might want to put curtains in there, because people park there. That's why it's happening. Because they drive in from the road, and then they back out onto the road. So they're constantly messing up that. So if you put a curtain there, you might at least get, like, the whole thing right there, and right in front of the school. You might at least get a little bit more...
What I might do is look at it,
light on it.
I might put some stone along there, so
Yeah.
that when they run off, they can sit on the stone. That's what I think I'm gonna do, because the dirt's not gonna stay.
No, it won't stay. It won't stay. And there's no curbs there, so...
Nah, you don't wanna put curbing there, because then they'll be walking.
No, they'll just ride over that too, but what I'm saying is there isn't any, so it's not like...
That'll be job security, putting it back all the time.
well, those of us who live in Chestnut Hill knows what happens when curb meets school bus. Ooh.
Yeah, on your cold patch.
Did you have a mess yesterday with trees down?
No.
Really?
Nothing.
My wife went up to Lyme to pick a kid up at Lyme Consolidated for an appointment, and on her way back, a tree fell across 156.
Was that around 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's when the power went out.
Yeah. It popped at the school, yeah.
We've developed a very good relationship with the Eversource tree lady, and we've done some serious cutting, and she's helped this town out immensely with stuff coming down that we would've had to pay for.
Oh, good.
The worst spot in town now, and our two worst spots is, is the lake, which is getting in there to try to let you trim, is like pulling your tooth, no one wants to touch anything. And, Johnny Cake Hill off McCurdy. They've got they wanna get in there, but they've got big trees, they gotta take them out, because they're right up against the wires.
Yeah.
Those are the only real two bad spots, because the rest of it, I mean, I've got a lot of trees. You'll see in the budget, we went up on the tree account, because we've got a lot of trees that
How good are you guys at trimming bushes?
Huh? Worry about trimming bushes?
Yeah.
Just a machine.
You want to trim some bushes? At town hall?
No, these
Save us thousands.
around this town hall here?
Yeah. I'd be better off to take your head and spike your drink.
And that's the truth. And you know why. I've been screaming about those around those air conditioners. It's not good for them. They got to breathe.
Right.
I don't know anything. They planted the ones out in front. They're supposed to be planting the 18 to 2 feet away from the building. They were planted too close. Now they're, and those two trees on each side of the sidewalk. Those two trees on each side of that sidewalk, I want to take them down, but they were put in there in memory of El Grasso. And then I wanted to put two of those nice, that red one that goes down like this, well, I want to put two of them, one on each side. It would look nice. I can't even get them out of there. Oh no, I look all the time. It's not doing this building any good.
Yeah, either Fred or I do, yeah. Thank you.
Do you need one?
I like my job. I hope they hang me with new rope when I do
So
it.
this is the new one?
Tree commission, absolutely not.
So what's in the binder is no good? We don't need that, or we do need that?
You don't need the one in the budget,
In the binder?
because he's updated the whole sheet.
Red tree, two of them on.
So you might want to just, yeah.
Take that out.
Okay.
Okay,
So I'm sorry there's no colors on this, but We saved James.
This one wants to get rid of me. And I'll be
This
here
is
for
terrific. Total public works is going down by 50%. Did you know that?
Because the salaries aren't included in this. Salaries
But
are all
anyway,
working for free.
just so you know, making out this budget is like playing Russian roulette, because I'm up against weather 4 months out of the year. The vehicle maintenance program should say equipment/vehicle maintenance. Out of that account comes all the maintenance for my loader, my backhoe, my flail mower, all this chainsaws, everything.
But
So it says vehicle/equipment.
that
It
line-
does now? Okay, good.
This sheet it does.
All right, then maybe to finally get
We're
it.
looking at this one, Ed?
Oh, okay.
Take a look at that. I have a question regarding whether it's sufficient. You've requested $35,000. Is that the line item I'm looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas last year you spent 70, the year before 40.7, the year before 44. So 35 is significantly less than you spent in the prior years.
Yeah, that's me trying to...
But is it realistic?
That comfortably, you could go up $5,000 on that, and not bad in line.
What line are we on? What is
I
it?
think he's talking about the,
Why does this
The
happen?
deal is, it's been $35,000 as a budget item for years, but we always overspend it. So the question, to make it more realistic, what would be a more realistic number?
40.
Think you can do with 40?
You don't know, because you
I
don't know.
don't know. That, like, hey, I mean, here's the theory here. I mean, I hate going in the red. This year, that account's in the red because of breakdowns, and because
at the moment, through the 1st of February, January 31, you're 32. And you still have...
it's in the red because I've got bills that aren't in yet.
Yeah.
And it's because the labor's gone up, parts have gone up from the labor, and now I've got 2 guys that are doing a lot of the work in-house. We, just to give you an example, we have 2 sliding jets left. We paid $9,000 for them 20 years ago. They're $20,000. The sprockets and shafts were gone on both of them. These guys took them out. We ordered new sprockets and shafts and spent $1,800 on 2 of them. They're like brand new now.
I mean, to the other point, obviously, we haven't spent a lot of money on salt this year.
That's my other point. I want to drop the salt by $8,000. Put it to 20 because I just bought.
That's for next year.
That's for next year.
It's going to be...
Is our salt shed full?
Yes.
He stocks up.
You'll be getting the bill, it was 13 something. I put 200 ton in it. Thing is full. The sand is full. I took 6 loads. We can take another $3,000 out of the sand for the winter, but I'd like to take 2,000 of that because I just found out my flail mower needs rear tires, which is about $2,000, and then the other 1,000 can go bye-bye.
So
I know we've got 6,000 in there, but I've got a truck right now that needs 4 rear tires at $2,800.
Let's slow down and get the numbers right one at a time. With respect to the salt line, which is currently at 28,000.
Put it at 20.
Huh?
Put it at 20.
I thought you said 0 for next year.
No.
20.
I've got to replace what I use.
Oh, I thought you had a full.
We do.
You don't know what
you're going to use, and it gives you that cushion.
Yeah.
If you have we've been lucky with the winters. But,
Okay, so salt goes from 28 to 20.
Right.
And then sand, which is at 20, what do you want to do with
I think we dropped it to 15 if you look at the yellow.
Yeah, historically 15 would be okay.
Well, no, I'm going to drop that 15 to 12.
What's the 15?
It says right here, suggestion by selectman suggestions.
he's looking at different pieces.
You may,
we're reading this one, Ed.
look at the new one.
Yeah.
Forget about that one.
Don't look at that one.
We're looking colored.
Oh, Anita spoils me.
Steph still got your original 20 request.
So sand today has 0 spent and 20,000 in the
Right,
budget.
there's very little. Drop that to 12.
From 20 to 12?
Okay. And then back up to vehicle equipment maintenance. It's at 35. You want to raise that to?
You said 40.
40 would help. It would definitely help.
Matt,
45.
Ed, doesn't it make more sense to go to 45?
Yeah.
please.
What's your
All right.
I mean, I know
I
you're not gonna spend
I'm a
it.
penny pincher.
Which we appreciate.
But you can't
But
pinch pennies if you have to pick
That's
them.
a line to BJ's point before, it has constantly been over budget. You have no control over what's gonna break.
Yes, no, and we're doing a lot more in-house though.
The line below it for parts could be a little high,
No,
We spent 22.
but you already,
because we're
okay,
doing more hard, no, parts is not high.
okay. And the other question I had was for uniforms. I remember you saying something, but not what you said.
Okay,
Is everybody getting new uniforms?
the uniforms, what comes out of that is, their boots come out of that 3,000, and they get, in their contract, they get T-shirts, reflective T-shirts.
So the boots, the shoes are another line item for 3,000.
But I mean, that's what comes out of the line item. The uniforms, everybody got new uniforms, and the price of the uniform have gone up with the new company.
Yeah, I thought we were going to.
One of these lines is uniforms and then parentheses masks and.
Right.
No, mass, it says is the other one, so they thought it came, mass went to the same account. Mass comes from the other account.
That's just,
Just clarifying that
so
it's.
Cintas is our company that we've contracted with them because the other company was not really providing us with the items that the guys needed, and they were charging us even though they weren't delivering.
Yeah, they would turn in uniforms one week, and if they got back one uniform back the next week was a lot, then they wouldn't show up. I'd call them, say, hey, you've got they'd be delivering me the wrong uniforms to another company, so you can come down straight and we need a uniform. Yep, never come till the next week.
So Ed Guys and Katie Balaco worked out a new deal with Cintas, and they've been much better.
Oh, these guys are very good with the uniforms.
Plus the people are coming in and checking, like spot checking every couple months, well, almost every month right now.
So is there a reason why the uniform has gone up? So is it because of that new contract?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
But if we get them, then it's worth every dollar.
that's right.
I thought at one point
pay
with
for
the
it,
we
okay.
stopped doing the uniforms, we gave all the employees.
We
an
did with,
allotment.
I got some new members, the other guys weren't wearing them, so we delete them and we're buying them pants, 4 pairs of pants. Well, now these guys are all wearing them, and I agree with them, because you don't want to put some of these uniforms or pants in the washer after you've been working all day and greasing oil and
I think
everything.
it's fine, it's just different than what we did before.
Any other questions for Ed?
Yeah, miscellaneous supply tools is another line that's kind of, you bumped it from 38 to 4,000, but year to date you spent 42, last year was 54. Not that I'm like you, I don't like to go up on things, but I want it also to be realistic. If that's a line item that, I assume those are tools that you buy to work on the equipment?
Yeah, and that's
You're
especially
doing more work
more
in-house?
work in-house.
So,
But Ed learned a new word this week. What was the new word you learned? Starts with an A.
Amazon. See, I remembered.
Yeah. So I said, you'll have it overnight if you need something, but we saw some pricing, checking out some pricing, and things were bought locally, and we want to
quality's there.
we want to support local, same exact thing.
I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind doing that, but when I buy a tool and in 3 months it breaks, I gotta buy another one.
Right.
Nope, we'll get you the same exact
No.
thing.
So you want to go up to 5,000 from 4?
Please.
Tools,
You didn't even have to twist your arm, Ed.
5,000. Go from tools from
I haven't gone up much.
4,000 to 5,000.
No, stop.
Why is line painting going up?
Because the cost of the paint, we've been going over. Actually, I've done enough where I can take it out of the new budget, and that's not the way we should be working.
Okay.
Remind me, everybody's going to get smarter this year. Education training, we have 3,800, which has been there forever, but not spent. So what's going on with that?
I have in the lineup to have to do an OSHA class. Everybody, believe it or not, is booked even for that. For the guy we use, he's an old line right up the road. So I have that, and the rest of it being neglected is my fault.
Well, but, no, this isn't a blame game.
We're still OSHA
The question
compliant.
is whether you think in the next fiscal year you are gonna get folks to go to the education,
Oh, I'm gonna do more than I'm doing.
and the 3,800 is
Yeah,
realistic.
that's fine.
Are they gonna use it this year and next year right now, or do you think they're not gonna get to it
I'm
this year?
hoping to get in this year to do an OSHA and flagger thing.
Plus, there's a great class on snow plowing that's, I think, literally almost free from the state, which gives you a lot of good tips for snow plowing, and I can get you into that next year in October.
We did a snow plowing safety class.
Well,
My guys are safe.
I know there's
It's the curbing you gotta watch out for.
and those mailboxes that jump out at you.
If the post is rotted, they have a problem because the slush is hitting them.
Well, we found out there's another nearby town that has a policy that if you don't call within 24 hours, we don't replace your mailbox. We think that might be a good policy to put into place.
If we take the box off the post, we'll go back, because the slush hits it, we'll put the box up. If I inspect the post and it's got a 4x4 and inside it's that thick, I'm not putting it back there.
We have a metal post that's built with concrete.
Oh, I can take that out. I got something
We've
funny.
been there 40 years though, so
I got something that'll make you all laugh. Back years ago when I plowed with a big truck, I'm going down Mile Creek Road, and it's mailbox, and it's 11-foot plow, and it's thrown off, and I watched this mailbox go bang. I went down, I go, oh boy, turn around, it's standing back up. I had to stop. The guy welded a garage spring on the bottom of it. I thought I was seeing things.
Do you remember what number that was?
Edward?
No, I think it was 242.
Sandy, it was right down the road.
I thought I was seeing
I
things.
remember it.
Well, he welded a garage spring on the bottom. The thing went wham. I go, oh man. I come back and it's standing up. I had to stop. I thought I was seeing things.
Ed, where are your signs in? Where's your sign budget?
Should be under post.
Post?
Where are they?
I don't know, I'm looking.
Oh, yep, down at the bottom, post signs
Oh, there we go.
for 5,000.
Yep. 505007. Miscellaneous supply, posts and signs.
Ed, what is the line item that's other miscellaneous that we're only putting $500 in? It looks like we just started that last year.
That was put in, Nicole put that in because I like to have a Christmas party or something during the year. And once in a while, when the guys work hard, I'll tell them, we'll go,
Well, you need to spend
we'll
some
buy
money.
some lunch because these guys do a heck of a job.
You need to spend a little more money in there.
Ed, are we gonna be okay on signs this year? Because I know we've increased, I mean, we're at 20, we were 27, 22, I don't have the most
Signs?
sheet with me. Well, one of the things that I learned through the local traffic authority course that I had to take is that our reflectometry on our signs is, some of our signs, if you go by them.
You can add $1,700 at 27 something that we spent.
Yeah, because some of our signs are not up to code.
Not even legible.
Do they just need to be cleaned?
No, the reflectometry is the new state, because they have to.
And I'm gonna have to buy poles.
Headlights in them at night, they have to be able to reflect back.
Yep.
And,
Why don't we move some of the ones from the end of Mile Creek to maybe that in town west and we'll have it.
they're coming,
Spread it out,
they
right?
told us they're coming, they told us
Talking
they're
about the
coming.
removal budget, yeah.
Yeah, Fred and I are going out there one night.
Next year, I'll have the tools, and I can't get it on Amazon. They make a tool, and I'm gonna buy an electric impact gun, because right now we're slamming these things in with a hammer, sledgehammer. This fits over the gun, and it will do the square poles and the other, because they're all, now DOT regulations are you have to put a breakaway bar in the bottom. The last time we were there, the hammer broke. We're gonna be putting in too many of them. It's not worth it. One injury and paid for that thing 4 times.
There are tools, though, that we can borrow from the state, but they'll lend us for a month or so. So you and I can sit down and you can ask and we can see it's a lending library.
We're starting
Huh?
to spend way too much time together here. Yeah, people are beginning to talk.
Any other questions for Ed?
Now you know
I
when you rent
have
over
a
your
couple.
mailbox.
There are a couple items that
Yeah.
you didn't have to spend much this year, the welding supply pipe.
Not done yet.
So I just wanted to, okay, that answers that question.
Now, you'll also see that there are line items that sometimes don't get spent, like stone and sand and stuff. Those are there for emergency. And if there's some years I spend a lot of it, what's left in there usually helps offset some of the line items that have been in the red, which I don't like. But I've been doing this now over 16 years in this job, and not once this board had to go to a town meeting to pay for anything for this budget. So that's a pretty good record, and I'm sick to my stomach going up here, but...
Well, but the budget has to be realistic. But what I hear you saying, and I've heard it before, is that generally at the end of the fiscal year, you're under budget. The line items may go back and forth, but in the aggregate, you're under budget.
That's it. And that's what I try to do, but it still hurts. It still hurts. Now, this is good. I appreciate the increase. And everything I went up on is because of the increase on either the material or the labor.
Well, we're still down a net 5,000. Okay, any other questions for Ed? Then, Anita, can you've made the changes to vehicle equipment maintenance to 45,000 and the, salt down to 20 and stone to 12?
Sand
down to 12.
Sand down to 12, and then...
But we have to boost the tires to a 2,000. Because I have that one machine I've got 2,000 for that machine. Now, if you don't increase it, we have $6,000.
Ed, wait a second, she's trying to finish.
Well, we're still talking about a possible another number that might need to increase.
I've got 6,000 in tires right now, I believe. At least the one I see here from the selectmen.
In which
tires?
Line item is that?
Vehicle tires.
Should be 6,000.
Vehicle tires.
Now, I have one truck already that needs 4 tires next year at $2,800. Then I have another, the flail mower that needs 2 big back tires, that's almost $2,000. Now I'm already over $4,000. And
did you say 4 times 28?
Yeah.
Plus?
I got 28, then I got another 2,000. That's $4,800. Already out of the $6,000 for next year.
28 is for 4 tires, and then another...
2 tires for the flail mower at $2,000.
So that's a total of 4,800?
Yeah.
But Ed, do you see yourself, right, year to date, you spent $33.99 out of 5,000.
But there should be another bill.
There's another, so that 5,000 is going to get spent.
No, there should be the tire bill. I had to put tires on what I put tires on.
Okay.
There's another $800, so it's close. Yeah, well, I've got a trailer now that needs 4 tires. I already know.
But that's this fiscal year.
That's for next year. I got this all planned.
He won't spend it until July 1st because he likes to be...
Well, but okay, think about the timeline of July 1st. What do you need to buy before July 1st versus after July 1st?
It's all planned, all after July 1st.
All after July 1st.
Because
so right now, I mean, that's fine. Okay. But right now we have $6,000 in the budget for next year. And go through the numbers again. That's
okay.
2,800 plus 2,000 is 4,800.
Then I've got 4 tires that go on a trailer, which will probably shoot the rest of that money that's left out of 6,000.
Okay.
And who knows whatever, if I get a blowout or something, I have nothing. That's why I'd rather just take the $2,000, add it to it, and then I'm only spending off the bat $2,800. And then I've got that rest.
So just 6,000 to 8,000.
Right.
Okay.
Gives me that cushion to eat up that tractor machine. That tractor's 8 years old. It's the first set of tires we're putting on the rear.
Ed, can I just ask you, you came into me about the body of the truck that we have.
Yes.
Is that going into next year's budget? Is this for this year's budget? Do you have it?
I haven't put that in yet, but I have it.
No.
I have.
That'll be capital.
That would be capital. Capital, okay. I just want to make sure.
Repair, or is it a...
No.
This one here, I've got that body, and I also want to push that dump truck up next year, not the year after, and I'll explain it during capital.
Okay.
Do we have the number?
Any, Martha?
Well, when we get to capital, we'll discuss it, because I just need to know if it's a justified cost. I question it myself, but we'll get there.
Any further questions for Ed?
None.
Anita, you got this change in tires from 6,000 to 8,000? So what's the total minus salaries?
416,390.
416,390.
Don't go down that much.
Like this, but no.
Does that not include overtime wages?
Yeah, I took that out. I didn't.
Okay, I'm just questioning because you gave us the number here of
No, I didn't take out
459.
fire, I thought it.
Okay, all right. What else up top? That's it, the 39,878 is not included in the number?
Correct.
Nothing else up top?
Plus, wait, we left the engineer in, so is
Yeah,
it just the 39.8 that comes out?
Okay. So the 416,390, that's everything below from Public Works engineer on down.
Postage on down, don't forget the $10, come on.
Postage, I'm sorry.
That's important.
That would have thrown it all off.
I know.
From postage down. And that's the whole $10 that was.
Yeah, I'll make a motion for 416,390 for Public Works.
Second?
10 seconds. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Abstentions? Motion passes.
Okay, and just for, because you saw that paper out when it came about work, Eric is asking for the bus barn that out of the bus barn fund, we pay for the annual inspection of the fuel storage tank, it's $1,850. Is that?
$1,850?
Yeah, $1,800 expense. And we'll use the bus barn money, that, we get the rent from. It goes into Fund 29.
We're supposed to do a yearly inspection of
Is that in Public
It's
Works?
not even part of the budget, it's part of Fund 29.
Okay,
But I wanted everybody to be aware and
okay.
Oh, yes, and there is one other thing that,
Just so you know, Eric and I talked today, but we just thought we'd come because there's money in funds that we could use. You do have to get your permission, so we just thought we'd make a list and do it all at one time.
Oh,
Just because instead of doing each one, we do these, yeah, we just thought it was better to put it together, but, after meeting with Dave on capital, he said there is money in the fund, you should be using it to pay for something. This is the new bill. You can look at this.
I have that.
No, it's the new one. I don't know, maybe you got both.
Anita,
By the way, I double-sided that paper, the double-sided and that's
Also in here from, we have now open tanks for our gray water when we wash it down.
yeah, so,
It's full right now, $2,000 a year.
on both sides?
He's probably one of the first, Anita did the first ones that single.
but before we move away from Public Works, stapled to the Public Works spreadsheet is an 8.5 by 11 sheet from Eric with a couple of items, one of them that Ed was just mentioning, which the items are pump out and disposal of truck wash gray water tanks, 2,000 every other year, annual inspection of fuel storage tank, $1,100.
Okay, that got added to that sheet.
Yeah, the only thing that is not included was that 1850.
For the bus barn?
For the bus.
Oh, okay, so those numbers are included in the spreadsheet.
That we just approved.
Good.
Yes, the one you just approved.
So that 1,000 is in there for the open?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Good old OSHA.
Can you tell us what line that $2,000 for the pump out is on in the budget?
That in catch basins, drain and clean?
Fund 29 is clean management.
No, that's the bus barn.
Oh, okay. So they're storing his repairs and maintenance. money. We're adding
the pump out.
repairs and maintenance. The pump out and the other, I put in, they didn't tell me what, so I added repairs and maintenance. The two.
Annual inspection, at the fuel storage tank for the public works that she put into the maintenance line.
Where is that? Where?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, I don't,
What?
It's 0404-000.
Yeah, 404.
It's over, it's above halfway.
She raised it up to 7,200
from 34, okay.
Yeah.
from 30.
Okay, so that, all right, so there's a 3,400.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So can you, Martha or Anita, tell us what we just got and whether we need to read through the attachment to the spreadsheet?
Okay, what I did is I gave you a copy of, when Ed talked about the transfer station, we got the quote from the person that does our landfill, every year that were part of the bid, and we had it at 14,000, we went up to 16,500.
16.5.
So that's why I gave you a copy to show why I went up on those numbers. The other one was, and I don't know where, I had it in there, it wasn't sure where to put it. And you see Lower Connecticut River Valley Council, we now have to give an extra $100 contribution for the ACES program.
I can pay that out of my selectman's office.
Oh,
It's just a one-time bill.
No, it's every year for the next 2 years.
It's $100 a year?
Yeah. So I added it where we have the river cost.
It's Martha's bill.
I added 100 in there.
I think I can find it in my thing. That was just to give you to pay for it today, not to put it in the
You're
budget.
saying it's 3 or 25.
But they asked that we would send $100 now, and that's why she sent it now. Friendly reminder that we would send the $100 contribution.
Okay, so my takeaway is the only change to be made on the spreadsheet is to increase the landfill monitoring from 14 to 16.5.
Okay, now we use the other one.
Leave it in, we'll probably spend it. Okay. It's all right, it's the $100. If I have to, I'll take it out of it.
So from 14 to 16.5.
Right.
Where are you? Moving 14 to 16.
We have the money.
Where did you find the
Mr.
14?
Chairman, could we, before we leave Public Works, I know we've kind of left Public Works. I know we're not doing capital, but can we talk about Public Works capital and go through, just have Ed walk us through, so I know he loves to come to our meetings and probably be back.
I have a lot of information that's gonna help you when you start going through.
But at least, I don't know, it'd be helpful for me to get an idea as to what we're looking at, because I don't think there are any numbers in here right now.
No, I have a whole nother sheet on that.
Okay, and I know, I'm sorry, I know we're not doing capital tonight, but, so I don't.
Well, I'd like to have some numbers in front of us when we do it, and
Ed
Anita
promise.
says.
Okay,
she has the
that
numbers.
makes sense. I didn't realize there was nothing in here.
There's some,
and
then they changed them.
I changed stuff on for Anita.
Anita and Ed and I spent 45 minutes to an hour this morning doing the paving schedule, because after 2021, it was never updated. So we updated everything and made sure we were right and added our 3.25% better until this.
3.25.
It looks like, Anita, that you already have the 16.5 on the spreadsheet?
On the new spreadsheet.
The new one, yes.
Yep.
Yes, it's
Okay.
all in there. I don't know if you want, if you want to share my for road.
No, that's gonna be another night. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna do capital stuff.
Yeah, I thought we were doing, I mean, not,
Where are we?
yeah.
I thought we were going to do transfer station on that page.
The next, well, right, I mean, going down the schedule,
Oh, they're gonna go back on that.
sanitation,
Bring it
municipal
back.
refuse is 1,300, recycling, hazardous waste, and transfer station.
Well, I just would love Ed to be able to do transfer station and go home.
Okay.
His baby.
Andy just asked if we would talk about it.
I'm gonna do
Oh.
But
capital.
we don't have the numbers, so there's no point.
So are you
Come
saying,
back anyway.
Martha, that We don't need Ed for the other items, just for the transfer station?
Yeah, he doesn't, and I know that Fred's got a lot of information about our recycling and our CWPM because solid waste has been tracking it.
Okay, so let's go down to the transfer station, which has a budget of 193.
Without salaries.
So that's without salaries, okay.
There's really no changes with respect to the contracted services.
Right, we changed contractors and we've saved some money with the tip of hauling fees and everything, or the tonnage, I think.
Switch to CWPM.
Yep. That's why you see the difference. Of course, like this 16 something because of the monitoring, which we're locked into for 30 years since we closed it. Otherwise, everything's pretty much the same. We went to $60 a ton on brush and logs, and we're charging $40 a load for leaves. The logs now, and the brush, we just chipped, and it's basically now paying for itself with a little extra. So that's a big plus. But we had to do that because before they used to come in and grind, and the same company would take the chips away for nothing. The market has gone out of it. We're paying almost $7 a yard to get rid of the chips. And everybody around's the same. He's the cheapest still to grind. And they're not chips, they're shredded. But
Can't you offer it to people to come and get so that they can take it home and use put it in their gardens?
You wouldn't want to put it near your house.
Well, there's actually a couple towns have started offering it to tell people as if you put like a 2-foot barrier between your woods and your lawn, it helps keep the ticks down in your lawn.
this is shredded.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just,
terrible.
it's not aesthetic.
I want around my house.
It's
Not
not,
supposed to be.
it's not an aesthetic thing. It's to mitigate Lyme disease in your yard so that, especially with animals and stuff, dogs and things like that, they pick up the ticks and they bring them in the house and then they get on people. So if you put this barrier all the way around your yard, you can cover it with something else
They
if you
go
want.
in the tick in there.
The ticks will.
Oh, if anybody,
So I think you should just let people know that it's available.
At $6.
If it's available. Yeah, I mean, seriously.
yeah, the problem is, it's available while it's there, but we have to get rid of it because we don't have the room. Now, we have tree companies or someone will come in with nice wood chips, and we have a pile of them. Those people take them all the time, and we have leaf compost up on the hill. They bring something in, we'll even load them to get rid of that. So, they're welcome to it, but there are not many people that want it because they want the wood chips to put around their shrubs and everything.
We should just put together a list and let them know, because if it'll save us from having somebody else haul it away, let somebody come in and...
Well, they know it's available, but it's not, if it's there 3 days, if it's 3 days after they chip, because I need the room to put more brush.
When you tell us it's available, we can put it right as a flash on the website, 3 days only.
I will do that.
I mean, save us some money.
I've asked this before a number of years ago. Is there any hope to put solar panels on the...
At one point, someone wanted to do that and pay us.
Yeah.
I have another company who wants to put a battery storage system in.
I just think, that's south-facing.
Yeah.
It's a big piece of property. We don't have a lot of solar, quote-unquote municipal solar in town besides the schools.
Would you like me to look into it?
I think it's been looked into before. And
It has. And I don't know what happened.
I mean more from a landfill basis. Are we able to put stuff on top of that landfill?
I don't know. I didn't get involved in that.
You might not be able to, technology's changed. You might not be able to dig and put foundations for them in because you'd break the barrier of the landfill that was there. But there might be some solar that would be heavy enough to lay on top
I know
of it.
Massachusetts did a whole big, huge program with getting individual municipalities to put it on their land.
Yeah.
If something exists to make it happen and still keep those...
Connecticut may not allow it.
Safe.
Yeah.
A vendor.
But at least I think it'd be worth looking into.
I agree.
It's a big area.
Yeah, because I don't think they'll let you dig in there because, first of all, there's no compaction, really. I mean, you just,
So, we
but
got
you
a
might have some just lay on the top.
Yeah.
Martha?
No, we got a phone call to see if we would be interested in doing a battery storage thing for electrical power. It is the size of 2 containers, but they're only willing to pay us $5,000 a year. And that to me is like a lot of bother for $5,000, but I'd be more than happy to.
Unless it's taxable, because it's their personal.
We would get some tax on it. He
But
did
not
say that.
They need us, and they only want to give you $5,000. Man.
Martha, years ago, didn't a solar panel company want to install panels on the landfill?
I don't remember, but I know that Ian has looked into it because at one time they were looking into seeing whether they could put it in, so I can ask him for some of the companies and I'll reach out to others and see what I can come up with as some ideas.
Okay. Back to the transfer station questions for Ed. If none, the number without salaries is 193,200.
What is that number?
193,200.
Is the last number on this page above the total of 1,291?
All of 193,200.
A second?
Second.
That's Matt. Any discussion? All in favor of 193,200, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Abstentions. Motion passes. Thank you, Ed.
Do you want me?
Stay in the audience if you want.
I don't care. Do you want me to give you some numbers on what capital yet? Hey, it's not gonna be a good night, all I can say. Well, thank you, everybody. Once again, I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Martha and Anita. Anita, well, after we did all this road stuff, she went upstairs and put it all together and did all the increases. It was a lot of work, and it's very impressive. She does a heck of a job.
And
Great.
Mr. Shoemaker
Thank you.
Mr. Shoemaker redid your whole packet for you, 'cause I gave it to him for homework one time.
I said, Martha, see what I mean? I don't have to go home. I'm already home.
I wasn't gonna be home. I said, fill in Ed's numbers.
No, thank you again. I really appreciate it. People do a heck of a job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ed.
Bye, Ed.
Bye, Ed.
Good night, Ed.
Get some sleep, Ed.
Okay, let's go back up to 213,100.
So, maybe I should explain the history, what happened here?
Sure.
You're talking about the municipal refuse collection?
Yeah, so the first 3 lines.
Okay.
Site fee, single stream recycling, and the municipal refuge tonnage. And so under the 22-23 actuals, that is a little bit out of date, and that kind of carried forward. So basically what happened was in July 22, we started a new contract with CWPM, and we got billed separately for single stream recycling and for solid trash. So when you see under the 22-23 actuals, you see the 295,011. That's actually not correct. So that fiscal year, we spent, it was 111,193 for the single stream recycling and 257,996 for the refuge tonnage removal. So, and that actually works very well with the amounts that were requested for the upcoming year.
So what was the second number, Fred?
Okay,
For
for
the
22-23 actuals.
Yep.
Okay, it was
111, 190.
Single stream first.
yeah, single stream.
Right, because we
Was
first came and then we made some adjustment entries. So on the year to date, the expense report, they have changed. But we did go over it line by line.
But we've got the 111, 193, and what was the disposal number?
Yeah, that was 257, 996. So that worked out very well. You see the next column over for the requested, that was a good number. Those are good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 23, 24 actuals up to this point, that's 71,000. That's a good number. But the 95,215,
Mm-hmm.
that should be 164, 324.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the Solid Waste and Recycling Committee has been tracking the invoices. That's where these numbers come from.
Are those two numbers, the 71 and the 164, through January 31st or through?
Through January 31st.
Okay.
Yep, 7 months. Yep. Yep. So,
And the 388 for curbside is correct?
No, what happened is, one of the numbers in curbside actually belonged to municipal refuge tonnage.
Okay.
And it was charged incorrectly.
Okay, so what's our number for curbside service fee as of 1/31/2024?
And because it was already, I did not change anything else.
that's 164 and 24.
No, that's the tonnage.
Curbside service fee. Is the first number at 388,289?
49,000.
Yeah, I know. I'm just asking Fred what's on his sheet, what he's been tracking.
Okay, which number are you looking for?
The top line is listed as 388.
That's fine.
The 388,289
Yeah,
is current?
we weren't tracking that at all.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
That top line, we did not track that. That's the fee that you pay for the truck to go around and collect stuff. Yeah.
$49,000 a month.
Fred, you're confident about these numbers?
Right, so, I mean, it was helpful because in the previous version of this, I think we had budgeted like 380,000 for the refuse pickup. And what we can do is reduce that to
We reduced
300,000.
the last time, the 300 was 380, and it was because single screen in municipal refuge was going to that line. So I did a journal entry to take it was almost $10,000 a month that actually belongs in single screen and not in municipal refuge. And I was basing it off of the history was saying a higher number per month. But once the impression went through, we found the additional and reduced it to 300.
Okay.
And Fred, the 388, 498 is a good number for this year, next year?
No, we can drop that to 300,000.
We have a new paper.
New numbers, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
Gave it to you.
Yeah, that,
I'm sorry, you should be looking at.
second thing she handed us.
With the second sheet I handed out a few minutes ago.
that's it.
Yeah.
Ed went back and forth.
Got it.
Well, good.
So those have the adjusted, budget suggestions.
Ed, you
Coming
think-
year.
Husband is back.
Okay.
So I'd make a motion for the 1,060,000.
I'll second that.
What was the number?
1,060,000.
On there, okay.
1,060,000.
Where do you see that number?
The total.
The total.
What sheet are you on?
Municipal refuse collection, it's like the top quarter of the page.
Gotcha. Okay, anybody second that? Who seconded it?
I did.
Anna?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
And just so you know, the solid waste came to us at the last Board of Selectmen meeting to introduce a new program for solid waste for scrap that we are going to try to do to reduce the tonnage.
Like food scrap,
Yes.
composting.
You can pick mine up on the way to the truck.
Okay, recycling.
Looks like the major change is the recycling of tires, because there's no contract, so it's going from 1,000 to 2,500, and we've already spent 1,500 year to date, so that seems to make
It's de minimis.
sense. And we
Really, Bob?
charge people for tires, right, when they drop them off at the dump?
Do,
So there's revenue to offset that.
yep.
Are we taking in at least what we're being charged for tires, or do we have to look at the fee?
I only get a total from the transfer station, so
I mean, I would think we'd be able to figure out $2,500 is enough money to pay for X number of tires to be recycled. So what should we be charging per tire that we're gonna get that's
Yeah.
coming in?
I know that
And
last,
maybe we're
We
making
should
money
at
on
least
it.
make our costs, cover our costs.
Right,
I know that last year we redid all of the services.
okay,
Ed went through line by line with Donnie. They
Okay.
came up with what they thought, and we
Yep.
did them as Board of Selectmen. We haven't redone them this year. I
that's the
don't,
only reason to redo them if our fees go up significantly.
and as far as no contract found for services, I think the best thing for us to do is talk to Donnie, because Donnie knows exactly who's coming in there to pick up things. So we will do some double checking on that.
What about the line recycling all items? We had budget 10,000, we've already
Yeah.
spent over, 15,000, so we're like 50% over budget already.
But I bet our revenue's up there. I think Martha mentioned that last month. Our revenue at the transfer station usually.
This isn't a revenue conversation, though. We're 50% over on that line.
Yeah.
What is recycling all items?
Looking at the line, hold on, I'm sorry.
This one right here.
Yeah, I see it.
Yes, that's why it all gets lumped.
I mean, just because everything when you go up there kind of has a spot, so it makes sense that it's oil-free on tires, and then you have all the single stream stuff. What other stuff, like
Technical,
mattresses?
the technical, the mattresses, the batteries, the light bulbs that go in, all those types of things are all the other things that we want to make.
But Matt's question is well taken, right?
Yeah.
22-23, we spent 22.4. So far this year, we spent 15.7. 10,000 doesn't seem like the right number.
Okay, and
Well, yeah,
also,
why did it get dropped down?
well, one of the things is, wait a minute, I'm looking at this, and it's not Casella Waste anymore that we have our contract with, the DWPM has now put in the, Casella was doing it, and then we went to CWPM roll-off.
But I don't think that explains that difference. It wasn't
Yeah,
that
right.
great.
I know that,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that we're not getting as much for cardboard anymore. I know that we can send as much as you want, but we don't get as much money back on it. Then we have the metal and the other bin that I don't go
Do you get
to.
paid for clothes and stuff like that, too?
That comes out, that goes back to the solid waste committee, because that's
Okay.
their bin.
Well, so in the absence of kind of understanding what's going on here, and just looking at 2 years of experience, that would argue for a $20,000 budget rather than a $10,000 budget.
Okay.
Yep.
It was that high previously as well.
Well,
That's
but
what
if
I'm
you
saying.
look at the actuals where it was 3,500, but the budget was
Something
32,
happened. Yep.
and then there was a budget of 20, but we only spent 29.
And if it makes you feel any better, I know we're talking about the expense side, but from a revenue perspective, so far year to date, we've run in $135,000 at the transfer station, and we budgeted to bring in $131,000 for the whole year.
Oh, good.
So the revenue,
Okay, so maybe that's why it's up.
it's an increase in volume,
Okay.
and we're probably paying more to get rid of the stuff. But we're charging more than enough to cover it.
There was a big push halfway through COVID that people were starting to redo where they live, expand their things in their house and clean out. And when we talked to Don a year ago, it's like, we've had so many people bring in so much stuff. It was just opening the floodgates.
So when they collect fees for these different things that get recycled, do they keep track of what
Mattresses, yes, not cardboard, not metal. Those go right in.
The tires, they keep.
I don't think they keep track
No.
of what revenue they bring on the you know. it's
No.
just-
Just to know,
They
see
definitely
how
don't.
it matches.
No,
Because
but
they weigh the car, because
Right.
we had a bunch of tires
Right.
that previous owners, which are my parents, had left behind. And so my husband just put them in the car, and he just got weighed, and he's like, I have tires. And he's like, okay, go get rid of them over there, and
We
then,
don't pay about the tire.
and then you come back, and after you take them out, you weigh the car again, and you pay the difference.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it wasn't like a per tire, it wasn't like I had 4 tires. It was,
But Donnie does a good job.
Mm-hmm.
he does, I mean, he knows what's there, and what's,
Yeah.
But he doesn't keep track of,
Yeah.
I brought in 7 tires.
You get a receipt that you paid
Yep.
$25.
however, you would think Bob's Tire Company would keep track of.
But he does
How many
have on
tires?
his thing that when you bring it in, there is an explanation on your receipt of what you brought in. So
Okay.
it must be able to do. Don and computers he's
Right.
making his way.
I know.
But to run a report, we might have to send Tom down or
Yeah.
to someone to run the report.
Because I know we upgraded the software, when we built a new building. We had to because the old software was running on a computer that was, I think, DOS or something like that.
So
It really was.
It was.
1995 or something.
when I went,
Print out with money, he does that.
yeah,
So,
So, do we want to raise this from $10,000 to $20,000?
I
I think
so.
we should.
Okay. Let's
And
make a
I will
change.
ask Tom if they can run a report on that.
Any other discussion or questions regarding this recycling budget, which is now with the increase at 32,410?
but let's look at the last line, recycling committee expenditures. We've budgeted $3,000 a year.
And that's,
Fred, say
for
something quick.
Mary Ellen, if you turn it in the back of your page, you'll see a little
Okay.
email.
Okay.
If you read the book.
In the book?
Yeah.
In the book?
We tried different values.
Outreach things.
Okay. It's gonna happen.
Say again?
It's going to happen.
I can't
I mean,
promise that.
that, we put it in the budget every year, and it hasn't happened. I guess that's my point.
That's a fair point.
I
But they do have some new things going on.
Okay.
And
That they want to advertise.
the committee presented at our last Board of Selection meeting and program about composting, and I think they will
Okay.
use some of it.
Great.
Maybe not all of it, but
But-
this might be the test year to
Yep.
see how much they do use.
But it's a good question. We'll see if it continues to be in there but not spent. We can change it.
Yeah, change the amount. It did get reduced this year, but 750 from last year.
Be interesting to look through the minutes as to why they asked to increase it to $3,750, and we
have
did
no
it, and they.
Maybe they're a year behind.
Maybe it's gonna happen this spring.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
So she, in
Year's
the
not over.
note here, she's got things to do, right? The mailing's
Yep.
1,800, banner and events another 1,200, so that's the 3,000.
That could,
See if she does them.
yeah. Well, it happened this spring,
Yep. Well, we can hope. Next time.
next year.
Okay, so for the 32,410, if there's no further discussion, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion for the 32,410 for recycling.
Andy moves, second.
I'll second.
Kim? Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries at 32,410. Then the hazardous waste facility. What is that?
That's through the river cog, how we get rid of our hazardous waste. There's various towns have pickups. We're doing one at the middle school again this year, and then the cog comes in.
So they do it, and this is our contribution to the expense?
Our share of our.
Share, and then we get a bill from the pickup of Old Lyme, what we owe them for taking it away.
And we can also participate at surrounding town events.
Yes.
They ask you what town you're from, you can get oil, have
As a matter of fact, the brochure just came out, Michelle, just was folded last week. So,
it's a wonderful service if you have stuff like that.
16,125 is,
Yeah, but if you look at the numbers, as I am for the first time, they don't line up with the actual. So the 3625 for this year, we've already spent 3422. Last year was 11,000. The year before 66. The year before 57. And then looking at the second line, right, for 12.5 of this year, well, that's been up and down.
I based it on actual, what the invoices that we were receiving from them, but we were getting recently, their average invoice is $850, is what they were saying.
so at the COG meeting in January, we set the rates and dues, and I believe that is in the back.
It is, I'm looking at
It's
it.
on the back page in your files, household hazardous waste and what old line.
Second to last. So that's-
So 3422, that's on that line, is supposed to be our dues.
35.
I think that Anita is,
That's why I added 100.
right,
Oh,
Our dues are 3525 for fiscal year 2025.
right,
It was adopted 1/24/24.
yep,
And then I added the extra 100 for the aquatic.
the
yes.
aquatic invasion, but that's supposed to go on your thing.
Yes,
Oh, you added it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what I added.
So just remove that.
So we're gonna remove that?
I'll find that, because I think that 100 has to come in now. I think we have to pay it now. They're trying,
I'm trying to find a payment for it.
But we can still, oh, I see.
I'll find $100.
So are you taking the 100 off the 3625?
Yeah, let's do that.
So, so I see, I mean, I see the document. Do you understand, Martha, why the numbers are so much lower than our actual has been?
I think they were probably misapplied. If you look at
Yeah.
22-23, where the COG fee was 11,114 and the household hazardous waste activity is 2479.
That doesn't make
Those
any
probably got
I think,
put in the wrong place.
yeah,
Flipped,
Yeah.
flipped. Yeah,
I don't know what the 21-22, we must have gotten rid of a whole bunch of stuff that was over $28,000.
yeah.
That's, you know.
that was COVID year.
COVID.
Everybody cleaned their basement.
Get rid of paint,
Yeah,
everything else.
You couldn't go to,
so you cleaned your basement.
exactly, and you're
Yeah,
running.
yeah, I remember us, yeah.
For a long time.
So right now for this account, we have $16,005, right?
Yes,
25. So $25.
We took 100 out. I'm gonna find
Okay,
it somewhere.
I'm sorry.
That's
So
okay.
$16,025, any further discussion about it? Have a motion?
I'll move that.
Anna moves it, Matt seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? 16,025 passes.
Probably extra credit,
Yeah, you are. So we didn't invite, I told Amy Bonatti, but she felt that her budget was not gonna, we didn't think it would be too concerning.
Martha, let me ask a completely unrelated question to the budget, which is, this room seems warm when we're here for Board of Finance meetings.
I don't understand what's going on with the heat. I don't, but I will talk to Eric tomorrow on these sensors. I don't know if you...
We paid millions of dollars a few years ago to get a fancy...
Yes, we do. The Emmy system.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not working. But of course, it was a 60-degree day, and
Well, we don't need air conditioning, but I don't.
blasting out of this radio.
I was here last night.
Yeah.
The radiator's hot?
And it was
All right.
boiling in here.
can open the window.
3 nights last week for meetings, and people were peeling off later.
And we're paying for it.
It's continuing to be warm.
Okay. Tomorrow. It's on my list now.
Thank you. Social services.
Yeah, exactly.
Social services,
Without wages, you converted $1,050.
No, we're doing, okay. Yeah.
social service agencies.
Or we need.
It does,
That's what it says we're doing. Okay.
No.
All right.
it says social service
Here's the
department,
part.
which is the top.
Yeah, without wages, it's $1,050.
Okay, I'll move that. For senior and social services, 50.
That's 1050? Any discussion?
I made
Any
a motion, I
questions?
made a motion, I don't know if we had a second.
I'll second it.
Well, okay,
No, well,
Now we can talk.
yeah.
who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, Andy and Kim. Motion's on the table. Any discussion?
Yeah, she hasn't had much of an increase in a long time. I don't know, I'm just a little bit confused about it. I mean, we keep hearing that people are losing their houses and they're giving their pets away.
It's a donation fund, it's the social workers fund, if you look in the other fund sheet, and that's where all that money comes from.
People should.
I'm not talking about salaries right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about her, I'm just talking about all the other stuff, like, she's only got one line besides mileage and postage and telephone, it says miscellaneous, and it's...
How much is in her funds? It's like,
Social workers fund sheet.
She's not spending it, I mean.
$89,658.
Well, I guess maybe...
89,000, and those are dollars that are available for her to dispense for people in
In
need.
need, okay.
But I think Anna is asking about her compensation, right?
No, I was not, nope.
Okay.
I mean, unless we need to talk about, but that's not been done yet, correct? So,
Well, we haven't done salaries, but,
Right.
Okay.
no, I just thought the miscellaneous line item was odd, but there's a reason for that. Apparently, the other money that she would spend is in a fund.
All right. Any other discussion? Then $1,050 has been moved. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? That motion passes. All social services agencies, which is a total of 7831.
And it looks like an increase for one and a decrease for another one.
we we took 2 out. Rushford and Regional Mental. Right, for the 2 that, so one no longer exists and one did not apply and ask for funds this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we did double check with Mary Seidner just to make sure that we weren't missing anything.
So the good number is 7831, the total.
Mm-hmm. Any discussion of this item? And a motion for 7831?
So moved. Oops, go ahead. Fred's got it.
Okay, Matt moved it. Anna?
Fred moved
Oh,
it.
Fred moved it. Is there a second?
Second.
Anna? Any further discussion? Yeah, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? 7831 passes. And VNA.
We did that on the 6th of February.
So the VNA is identical to last year and down a little bit from prior years. Why is that number so constant? Do they just ask us for a fixed amount?
She does her budget.
I think she said, when she came a while ago, she said she had an endowment of some kind.
Yep.
Okay.
that she tried really hard not to increase to the town. And at whatever happened, there was some kind of a CD or something. Do you remember that? And she was
Yeah.
going to cash that in. It was a while ago, but that was why it went down.
But the
Took
bottom
a
line
jump.
is she has another source of funds.
Yeah,
that
but
will
she,
guarantee
they're apparently got it under control.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've given us money back, there've been years
Yeah.
where they haven't spent their money.
She was in my driveway yesterday and today, and I asked her again, she said, we're all set, we're happy, we don't need an increase.
Yep.
So I don't-
amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Any discussion regarding the 65,000?
I'll
If
make a
not,
motion for it.
I'll second.
Okay, that's Andy and Matt. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? 65,000 for VNA passes. Estuary Transit,
There's $0 under that here.
I can't even find it.
17,710.
And that says River Valley Transit, and down below, under Estuary Services, it says Estuary Medical Transportation.
Estuary.
So it says Estuary Transit District, 17,710.
It doesn't say that.
Andy's talking 3 lines below that.
Yeah, I just, the total doesn't match, you know, it says River Valley Transit, then underneath it says Total Estuary Transit District.
Mine says 17,710 for that.
It does, I hear you, but I was looking at it, the title as being River Valley Transit. And then below that,
Yeah.
Estuary Services, there's 2 line items below it.
If you
And
just-
one of them says Transportation.
The lines are set up incorrectly.
If you just go by the number.
Well, Estuary Medical Transportation must be different.
Okay.
That's-
We pay the transit district one thing through the river cog. Then estuary nutrition services is through the senior center.
You need to go down 3 more lines, and you'll see estuary medical.
That's not what we're talking about.
Estuary Medical Transportation has $0.
There's no medical transportation.
So let's stick with Estuary Transit District, and the number seems, pretty constant and in line, but the year-to-date is 17,195.
Is it just a fee?
Well, that's my question to Martha. Do you know how they charge it?
Yeah,
It's a matter
they
of
have their request letter in the back. That's why we give you the backup data,
having
that you can see that they requested.
Right.
640 being the same as the title in the budget. No.
that part.
But the bottom line is it's a one-year fee.
Yeah. But the
It's a yearly fee.
No,
But it gives, they send it out every year. I'm trying to find their paper. But it is,
Martha, it's more the titles on our agenda
okay.
don't match
you're
what's in the book.
Yeah, because it's River Valley.
So Joe Comerford sends out, BJ, did you find the letter?
Yeah,
December 18th, 2023?
yep.
Yep. So that's their request.
Oh, I know, remember, this was the merge of the districts. That's probably why it's messed up.
Again, I'm not arguing about the number, I'm
I'm
arguing,
just saying the name.
That
Remember
getting-
they changed the name because they merged, because ours was better than everybody's or some nonsense, so they all wanted to
making
sit on
our
it.
agenda
this-
item line up.
But this is really just for Anita.
Yeah.
Anita? In terms of the heading, and under this one, it says River Valley Transit, which is their new name, and then underneath that, it says Estuary Transit District. That should, huh?
It does, that is.
River Valley Transit, Estuary Transit District.
Do you guys remember this? It was
I
because,
remember the merger, but.
It was the merger.
He's asking, why do we have two different?
because it comes from River Valley Transit, but it's for a bill for the Estuary Transit District.
I'm gonna speak for Andy, because he's my friend. We don't care what name you use, but we think both names should be the same.
But but they won't, then it won't match the bill. If there's a bill in here, if you read it,
If you
it's
read
from
the letter.
the River Valley Transit District. They are like in charge of all of us now. But we're getting billed for the Estuary Transit District. So that's like our part of the district, even though it's called River Valley Transit. So I think it does make sense, because the bill comes from the River Valley Transit Company, but it's for the Estuary Transit District that we're getting, that she has to write the bill, the check out to.
Right.
So, I mean,
You wanna go home tonight and say, okay.
Okay.
We're not gonna spend any money that isn't supposed to.
I realize that, I'm just, you know, when,
Technicality.
I think we all just have to remember
What would
that.
like you call that?
it'll be the same.
Get it correctly.
River Valley.
More.
It's just gonna go to estuary transit on the bottom, because that's who we.
Oh, you want to make a motion for the
I move,
$17,710? I'll second Fred's motion,
For
Okay.
the estuary transit.
or whatever it is.
Fred moved, Andy seconded. Any further discussion? 17,710. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? 17,710. And what's underneath that?
The nutrition services.
Nutrition,
Which is going up
the next line down.
Right.
25%.
But it had gone down, like, oddly. This is more in line with what it was prior to this year. So I wonder what changed. Did we stop for COVID offering certain services, and now maybe they're offering them again?
They couldn't eat in person,
Yeah.
they could pick up meals for
Right.
weekdays.
Right.
Again,
Is that what's going on now?
Right, so,
So it's just going back to what it was.
it went down.
So we've got 19,495.
I'll move 19,495.
Second.
On the moves, Fred seconds. Kim moves. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Be quiet.
Okay. Next is our three low-income housing folks.
And because there were big packages, I gave one to Andy, so there's one there. So that side of the table has one. You'll have a whole set for
Thanks,
you,
Arvin.
and then I'll give this side of the table a packet. And you're missing one. I think
But
we should-
are these different?
I think you need two.
There's one for each
Yeah,
organization.
there's one for each organization, then there's a packet for down this side.
And these-
We all share.
Everybody's like that. Are these in a particular spot in here? Okay. Yeah.
Basically, these are for the tax abatement.
I only gave a
You're
copy.
supposed to apply for a tax abatement and supply
What are
this.
they under, yeah?
The end of the notebook on that?
That's right, they're with the cardboard.
Did they all the organizations requested this?
Yes.
Right,
First time. and-
right, because if they don't, we don't have to
We
grant
give
them.
them tax relief.
So,
What
I
did
mean,
we want?
they don't all have their, Limewood doesn't have.
Oh, but we didn't have it.
Limewood, they did something about
They don't.
no, they still,
They provided us with financial, they provided us with their, it was usually, like I would think we'd see the report for the end of 2022 or something like that.
Michelle, I thought Limewood sent us their stuff.
They sent stuff, but
Yeah, they didn't send
not
their
their
full
actual, their tax filing.
they requested, but they didn't send it.
I have the,
Well, so last
Is this
time,
any different than what we already had?
Yeah, but they still.
let's take questions one at a time. We have the three organizations, Limewood, Hope, and Ryfield. Last time we addressed these, we're not sure what the percentage abatements were. Now I am. We gave 80% abatements to Limewood and Ryfield and 100% Hope, which my understanding is only with respect to the land, not the improvements for the Hope properties. And so it's not much money. So that question has been answered. Also, last time we had request letters from one or two, but not all three of them. Do we now, Anita, have request letters from all three of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so Anita has given us that. Then third, do we want to look at the financial statements to see, to answer whatever questions we may have, in which case we have to pause and take some time to do that, or are we happy just to have received the information?
We have the financials from all three. We have the request, we we know the percentage, but Andy's made an indication that we do not have all three places.